Hi everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to attempt making a card with a pop-up feature in the middle. So I saw this idea. Jennifer McGuire did several different cards with a pop-up feature. Basically, and I haven't made one yet, so that's why I don't have anything to show you, but basically the pop-up feature will pop up from the inside of the card here. So I chose Tropical Chic stamp set. I love this stamp set. And recently I've actually put some magnet strips, and I put my dies inside with my stamps because I've gone to a couple card club classes, which I'm embarrassed to say, and I forgot to bring the dies or the stamps or whatever. So I got this, it was really cheap on Amazon, this magnet strip, and it does have a sticky side, or you can put some just some strips of adhesive on the back if you don't think you want it to be permanent. But I thought we could make the pop-up from this little window palm here, which kind of reminds me, I love this stamp set. It reminds me a lot of the Golden Girls. So I thought we could do that today. So I did already cut out a few things. So I cut out 2 of these. And the reason I cut 2 is because you have to have something to back it to. Oops, I have this backwards. Hold on. You have to have something to back it to. And this one, you technically can't flip it this way because then it won't be a mirror image. So you could if you wanted to kind of give a different appearance for both sides. But I'm actually going to just flip the piece backwards so it does match when you look through. Okay, just like that. So this is Granny Apple Green. The base card is Petal Pink. I cut a couple palm fronds out of shaded spruce. I stamped a couple little hibiscus. I actually stamped this one with terracotta tile and then terracotta tile, and I put a little bit of red in between. But we're also going to need to make a cover sheet. So we're going to make this for the front of the card. This is 4 by 5 1/4, so just to kind of decorate it. So we'll stamp this one. And then in the meantime, I cut some legs. So basically, you normally need 2 legs. And when I say legs, they're going to be sticking out from the bottom of the card. And these are the feet. But since this is pretty open in the center, I'm actually going to put 1 on each side. So hopefully this works out. Again, I've not done this before, so we'll see how it goes. But what I planned for is sticking a foot on the inside here, and we're going to glue this in place. And I think it's pretty close to being, you could cut it a little slimmer, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But you could put it so it's kind of right at the bottom, and this is going to hold the card up, and we're going to put one on the other side, and we're going to glue the top of it together. So we're going to trim this off significantly, but wasn't quite sure how long we would need it, so that's why I left them long. So what I did was I went ahead, and where's my paper? Oh, I was going to say, I'll show you what I did, is I just took a piece of scrap cardstock. I went with the color of the base that I used, but you could use whatever color you'd like. And I just scored it a 1/4 inch, and then I just cut some 1/4 inch. One of these is a little bit thinner, but 1/4 inch strips. And then you can always make it shorter. Okay, so to get started, what I'm going to do is we're going to stamp the front first. That way we kind of set that up, and then we'll do the rest of it. So I'm going to set these pieces on the side. These I kind of thought we could add maybe to this if we needed to cover something up. We could add a flower to it. So we'll kind of see. Another thing you could probably do if you were concerned with having the pieces and maybe not having the, because when you cut it on this side, this is like the not as nice looking part of the die. So it does match up. However, it's just a little bit, has rough edges. So if you wanted to turn it the other way, that way you'd have 2 pretty edges, you could also put a piece of vellum on the inside in between. It would almost give like a frosted window look in between. So maybe I'll try that another time. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of move around with some different images. I'm going to try to keep some of them the same, and then we'll just kind of add something on the front. So let me grab a scrap paper. So I'm going to start with kind of the bigger images first. So I'm going to do this large palm frond in Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to kind of do this randomly. You can change the direction. You could stamp it off before re-inking. Kind of that 2nd and 3rd generation inking. Alright, so that's the larger one. Now I'm going to bring in some of the smaller palm with the shaded spruce. The shaded spruce you can usually get at least 3 inkings out of because it's such a dark color, which is kind of nice. And they don't really all even have to be right next to each other, so feel free to move around. Just trying to fill in a little bit of the space. Like I want to do one more over here. And one going in the other direction. Okay, so there will be that. So let me just close these two up. Then we're going to add in a few of the other elements. So I have these little dots. These are always cute. So I'll do these. I think we're going to also add a sentiment onto the front of this. So I'm just going to add these little dots just randomly. Okay, and I do want to add a hibiscus. Let's see, that should fit on there fine. And I will do this in, I'm actually going to do this in petal pink. And then I'm going to take my terracotta marker and just kind of fill in the center a little bit. So I'm going to stamp. I'll stamp a couple different ones. So just alright, so I'm going to take, I stamped that with petal pink, and then I'm just going to take my marker and kind of fill in the center part where it would be darker. And stamp. And if you get a little bit of ink transfer, if you wipe off your stamp, it will be just fine. Just do another one here. Kind of just something different. And you could do this with the stamen. You could color the ends of those. You could do it yellow, whatever really that you want. All right, so we'll leave that like that. And then just for one more, just a couple flowers, I'm just going to do terracotta. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp these off before I stamp them on here. So just so they're a little bit lighter. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now, to make it pop, you could do one of two things. I'm trying to make this just a slightly quicker card for you guys because I know sometimes some of my cards tend to go on and on and on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stamp it with black ink, but you could do black heat embossing would be really cool. Lots of different things. There's also this little jagged line thing here, which is really cute. All right, let's see. How about You Are the Greatest? And we're going to put that right in the center. And we're going to do that with black ink. Now, I am going to use my, oops, sorry, I thought that was going to fall over. I'm going to use my VersaFine ink because it gives really, really nice detail. And it's very crisp and it's really deep black. Just make sure it looks good. If you don't have this, you could definitely, like I said, use the do the heat embossing with the black embossing powder or even the shimmery black. So there, it's like a really nice crisp black. This ink does take some time to dry, so I'm going to set this. Hold on, let me clean this off real quick. Sorry, I have these retro mounted, but apparently I don't have enough sticky on. So I'm just going to set that on the side to dry. And in the meantime, we will work on our card. Hopefully our mechanism works well. We will find out in a moment. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab our 4 little feet that we made. So again, we can, with our bone folder, just make sure they're creased, because you want them to stay in. Hopefully this works well the first time. Okay, so I'm going to, again, I said I was going to do these so they lined up even if they don't necessarily have their best side out. So they're going to go like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue. See if it wants to work. Might be empty. Time for a new glue. Even the tipsy can't help it when your bottle's empty. Okay, so I have a little bit of glue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the foot on each of these. So the bendy part is facing up. So you want the bent portion facing towards you. Okay, so this is going to go to the inside. And then same on this side. Just again lining this up right at the bottom here, like so. Do the same for this one. Oop, did I do this? Yeah, that's the front facing one. Ooh, just wanted to make sure. And same for this one. And we're going to snip this off, so no worries about that. I just want to make sure I have the bottom lined up at this point. Alright, so I'm just going to grab my snips, and I'll probably go like halfway. Now, if you wanted to hide the feet more, so this little tiny piece is going to show through here, but if you wanted to hide the feet more, you probably could also use the Granny Apple Green. That way it would kind of merge together. But I'm not too concerned with it at this time because I think it's going to kind of fade into the card color. So hopefully you won't notice it too much. So right now we have the 2 feet. So they're facing, you want them to face into each other, and we're going to glue the top, maybe third together. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I have enough. I don't have enough glue here. Let me just grab another one. I'm going to grab some glue. Now the reason that I'm going to use liquid glue is only because it kind of gives you that little wiggle room if it doesn't line up correctly, that you kind of adjust it still. And you don't really need it on both sides. So then I'm going to put this together. Just like so. And now I found that these are just the tiniest bit off in their squareness, but that's okay. All right, so you can see they're glued together at the top, and you have your little feet sticking out here. Now, what I'm going to do is put some glue. Hold on, I want to make sure this is square. Put some glue on these bottom feet and then put them in the card, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just score this, or reinforce the score, I should say, with my bone folder, okay? And then we're going to put glue, and we're going to put these down. And, geez, both of these are empty. I don't want too much that it goes squirting everywhere. Okay, so you kind of want these to stand up. All right. So we're going to put this down here. And then we're going to close the card and kind of pinch those 2 spots. So hopefully it's going to work. Now at this point, because we didn't make this a front, it doesn't really make a difference which side is the front. But there you go. So you have a little pop-up. So it folds flat. And then you have this little thing that pops up. So you have this little window in the middle, which I think is so cute. Okay, so now, oh, I'm so happy that turned out. I was a little nervous there for a minute. I'm not going to lie. So now I'm going to just decorate this by adding these little palms. So I'm going to add these. I'm going to add the other little hibiscus. And I'm going to kind of just put these, I'll put them so they're kind of over. As long as they don't extend past the edge of the card here, you're good. But this does want to stick to the front, so you probably, I would say at this point, want to pick which side you want to decorate, although you could add this to the other side as well, just kind of up to you. So whichever way you want to do. I'm going to add a little hibiscus over here. You could do this with mini glue dots as well, if you were worried about using a lot of glue. But as long as you, when you're decorating this, kind of keep it upright, that way it doesn't stick to the back more than it's supposed to, you should be fine. Let's see where we think another one would look good. Right there. All right, so there's that. So we could, again, we have lots of other stuff in here. You could add the other layers of the palm. You could cut out more hibiscus. You could cut out, let's cut out one more of these. And we'll kind of put something around the back sticking up. So I'm just going to run this through the die cut machine. So just give me 1 second. say about these is I like to run these specific dies back and forward because I find that it helps them pop out a little bit easier. But here's this. And just to make this one so it kind of sticks out a little bit against the other ones, I'm actually going to just take my Granny Apple Green, which is the same ink, and I'm just going to sponge the edges just a little bit. Kind of give the edges a little bit more green. Okay. And same thing again, so you could put this kind of so it sticks out here at the back. So, let's see, put a little bit of glue here. And you just kind of want to, yeah, we got obviously plenty of room there, so it's not gonna, I'm just gonna hold this for a second. That way it sticks up. So then you have this little peek through card. Again, if you put the vellum there, I think would be a really good touch, but what you'd have to do is decide one side or the other that you're gonna stick it to. All right, so let me put this in the holder now since this one seems to be dead. Now, the only other thing we have to do is we have to add this to the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm pretty confident that's dry. Pretty confident this is dry. So I'm going to just take some liquid glue, and just because I'm afraid my likelihood if I touch that one little thing I'm going to smudge it. Put a little bit of glue on the back. You could even do some die cuts and add that to the front if you wanted to. So it's kind of like this card is pretty busy on the front. One other thing you could do to kind of make this a frame a little bit is you could frame this with a black background and then make this 3 3/4 by 5 black background, or dark gray. Actually, basic gray would look nice as well. Do that one by 4 by 5 1/4, and then you could have a couple layers. And then when you open it up on the inside, how fun is that? And we can stamp something here on the bottom too. So we have "You Are the Greatest." We'll just add this little doodad down here at the bottom. Actually, I'm going to stamp this in petal pink. We'll just do tone on tone for this part. And we'll just kind of stamp this, whoops, across there. And I'll do one kind of in the center. There we go. And then I'm going to grab the terracotta. And just because I can't leave well enough alone, I'm going to do a couple of those little dots. Okay, and so we said "You Are the Greatest," so I'm just going to go back to the VersaFine one final time, and I'm going to add in "Thank you," because I'm betting that this was a thank you card. Beautiful. So pretty. Move that over. I have a tendency to somehow end up wrecking my card, so I'm going to give this just a few seconds to dry, but I'm not going to close it all the way. So there you go. Beautiful pop-up card with a probably die that you wouldn't have necessarily thought you could do this with. The other thing you could do is you could even use the palm leaves and you could make those just sticking up. But I thought this kind of like a little window was really, really fun. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you don't own this stamp set, now's your chance to get it. The Tropical Chic stamp set and the die are sold separately at this point, but they are still both in the catalog, but there is not a bundle code for them because they were new the year before last. But this is such a fun card. Anytime I look at this, it always reminds me of the Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend. We need that sentiment. That is adorable. It would be so cute. So thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you will give this card a try. Believe me, when I saw it done, I thought this has got to be one of the coolest cards, but I really thought it was going to be complicated. But this is the very first one I've made, and look, it actually stands up, so it can be done. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can always leave comments here on YouTube. You can send me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com if you have a question about how to do this card or something else that you might need answered. I'm always here to answer questions for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and if you enjoyed this video, I'd truly appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up and then share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.